Welcome to Marvel Maniac, an MCU after show. This is your host, Eric Cicada, aka Mr. Honest, back with you for an all-time classic. But before we do that, we need a little confession time. I didn't rewatch Deadpool for this episode, but hear me out. I've seen it enough times that it's practically seared into my mutant brain. So today's episode is coming straight from the memory, instinct, and probably a few gloriously fuzzy recollections. That's the fun of it, right? This is how Deadpool lives in my head. Wild, meta, emotional, ridiculous, and kind of genius. Let's talk about why it still hits and what made it special back in 2016 when it premiered on Valentine's Day, and how it sets the stage for what's next. I want you to know that if I miss a scene you love or I totally butcher a quote, feel free to roast me. MarvelManiacPod at gmail.com, lovingly. We'll make up for it in the Deadpool 2 episode. I will warn you, that's coming up very soon. So try and email me as soon as you can. And don't hesitate, because we love to hear from our wonderful listeners. So let's get into Deadpool. So when I say I've seen this movie multiple times, I'm not kidding. I've seen it probably a month or two ago. The main thought, this movie holds up. This movie holds up. This movie holds up. I have a memory of, me and my ex-girlfriend at the time, back in 2016. It was Valentine's Day. Well, is there any romantic comedies playing? Well, if you look at any billboards, if you have a time machine and go back and are looking for Deadpool original Deadpool billboards, they are there, but they're not Deadpool. It says Deadpool, and then it shows him and his love interest, Vanessa, and it's Ryan Reynolds without the Deadpool face. This is Ryan Reynolds and the actress who plays Vanessa, and they're sitting across from each other. It's like a love movie. So they did some pretty fun marketing on this because of the fact it came out on Valentine's Day. I think it probably made for the best Valentine's Day ever. It's kind of funny because that's not the type of holiday you usually reflect on if you're out of a relationship. However, I could still appreciate that Valentine's Day memory of seeing Deadpool for the first time. And boy, was it really fun. And even though there were many, many superhero movies coming out around this time, later that year in 2016, we'd be getting Captain America Civil War, and I believe Thor Ragnarok in the same exact year. I might be wrong. It might be the following year. But anyways, the point is, this movie came in at a big time, and it redefined a little bit. It was a genre reset. And the self-awareness in the movie, starting in the credits at the beginning, if you usually just put those in the background of your brain, you'll miss it. But, the credits at the beginning, they make jokes and stuff. It's not the names of the people in the movie. It's a guy who wears a wig. I'm not Ryan Reynolds writing this, but it's pretty cool how they decided to do that. And I just love how this kind of contrasts Deadpool and Wolverine, because he does always come back and reference Hugh Jackman at the very least, at the end of this movie where he's saved the day and Vanessa is coming to unmask him, and then she unmasks him, and it's it's Hugh Jackman's face literally stapled on his head. Have you watched it recently, or have you done yourself due diligence and watched it just today for this episode? That's true commitment. If you did that, you get a reward. But let me know. I don't have an award for you. I got to make one up. All right, I'm not going to give you an award. Let's be real here. Did you laugh? Did you cry? Did you cringe? There's some cringy moments in Deadpool, but not unaware. It's self-aware cringe. It's ow, my arm. How is that going to work? Okay, he can grow. He could regrow limbs and stuff. He's really super powerful. Another thing that just pops in my head about this movie is I'm riffing on it. I do have some notes, but I thought the best way to go over this is to reminisce it as it comes to me in my head. So when I noticed this in theaters, when Deadpool is at the end fight and they're fighting on that giant thing that they're fighting on, that is totally a SHIELD helicarrier from the Avengers. It looks just like it. It doesn't say SHIELD on it. However, I honestly think from the very beginning, Ryan Reynolds' goal wasn't just to make an amazing Deadpool movie, but it was to get him into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, being the first idea of bringing another universe character in. But I think he made these movies with that in mind, I mean, he did use the same actor for Thanos, Josh Brolin, as Cable in Deadpool 2. Yet another reason, maybe a genius move on Ryan Reynolds' part, because he was fantastic as Cable. I mean, Thanos is my favorite of all time, but that makes me like this movie more because I like to see, you don't see too much of Josh Brolin's face, but you can if you really look for it in Thanos. But Josh Brolin gets to be the actor here without the big purple suit. I don't think he ever wore a purple suit. It's all CGI. Anyway, best CGI ever. All right, let's get to some breakdown. Let's look a little further into the movie. Main highlights. The opening credits gag, like I said, I think it's genius. I love that he's waiting and drawing a little colored picture. It's just so nonsensical, and the way he took that action scene and turned it into a set piece across a highway, and the centerpiece of the entire movie. The way they decided to tell the story of Deadpool. The order in which they decided to tell the story of Deadpool and Wade Wilson. I liked that order. I think that order was really key in keeping the audience really engaged. If you started him off with the origin story like most superheroes do, it's going to take like 20 minutes for him to become Deadpool. Everyone wants to see Deadpool. So the opening with the narration, utilizing Wade's power to break the fourth wall, it is done perfectly because we get to see the action, then we get to see how it started, then even more rising action until about halfway, maybe even more through the movie, we are caught up with the opening sequence and all that just happened, and we are with Wade on the rest of his journey. So we're not like behind him the whole time. I love that. It honestly, it draws the movie like in a way I haven't seen many. It could be messy. It could be very potentially messy doing it that way. But I think that it really works, and that's what made this movie a little bit more special. Ryan Reynolds at the time, even he was like, I don't know if they make this joke in the movie. Now you can school me. Don't make the suit green. If you don't know what that reference is, it's because Ryan Reynolds destroyed his bad movie reputation with 3 amazing Deadpool movies. However, for those of you that don't know, and I find it hard to believe that you don't, but it's been a while now, Deadpool was in a DC movie called The Green Lantern, and it was maybe the worst superhero movie up to that time, and maybe still. I didn't see it, but the census was by everyone but me, that anyone who's seen it was, this is the worst, maybe the worst superhero movie ever made. And Ryan Reynolds was always in love with Deadpool, and they put him in Wolverine Origins. And I think it's ridiculous what they do to him. We get some jokes about this later in Deadpool 2, but I think it was a good start for Wade. I think it makes the Deadpool we have now that much more special. It tells the story that Ryan Reynolds really wanted to be this guy. He got a chance to play him. Then they gave him a bad interpretation, and then he went years making this passion project, and he leaked the opening scene, but it wasn't the exact shot scene because they hadn't filmed anything, but it was like test footage, and it was the scene where he jumps in the car at the beginning and starts beating up guys, and just seeing that, the rumor was it leaked. It was leaked by Ryan Reynolds. Everyone knows and says and agrees with that. And it was a great idea. It was a genius idea. It gave him the sign off. It seemed like he had a lot of creative control right off the bat. And that's what led him to, start his journey towards the MCU. I always wanted him to be in the MCU more, especially because it did feel like his story was being written for it. And it's just genius to leave that door open that way. Like, you're not guaranteed anything, but hey, what if this becomes a super success? And Deadpool, is kind of a giant name from the comics and in the superhero world. Like, people love Deadpool. So, is this gonna work? It did. It worked like magic. Breaking the fourth wall could have been horrible, cheesy, dumb, but they nailed it. They nailed it at moments we didn't expect, like a fourth wall break inside a fourth wall break. The lady the older lady, the blind woman that he lives with eventually, who I think he just starts living with out of nowhere in this. There's that scene where he has the tiny little baby hand. Just the way we're being talked to by the main character at the very beginning of this movie, it hits different. And fourth wall break makes you feel a little bit more connected and with this character. I did hear a rumor, and it wasn't a rumor. I think this is like some Reddit thread in the Marvel Studio subreddit where like when Deadpool joins the Avengers, when he does these fourth wall breaks, I saw a really funny idea that they're gonna just show him talking to no one, like as if he's completely like insane, which he kind of is. It's so funny. The fourth wall breaks. Like I bet we're gonna see a full perspective of that in the next movie, like the Avengers Doomsday or Secret Wars at the very least. I mean, we're gonna get some multiversal Deadpool, but they did a pretty good job of that in Deadpool and Wolverine. They did what Loki did, kind of like really showing the multiversal variants of that character. And Scott Lang got that too, but it was in a different probability field type situation. So I'm not positive if like those are all the actual Scotts of the multiverse or they're what could have been in his universe. It's complex. There's a reason that like some people have left the multiverse saga behind. I'm not trying to insult you. It sounds like I am. It's like, it's too smart for you. You just don't understand. Like, no, it's not like that. Like, I'm just saying like it's complex as hell. Like almost I don't understand. But all I can say is we have one other character that breaks the fourth wall in the MCU, and that is Jen, aka She-Hulk. And I think she did a good job in her show of doing that. They did a very, maybe even like, they jumped into the fourth wall at the end of that show. If you haven't seen it, I'd recommend it. It doesn't get the most love. Neither does a lot of Phase 4 or 5. I'll be honest with you guys. You could find good in most of the things they made except for Secret Invasion. But the fact is you can find a great thing in Secret Invasion. It's Samuel L. Jackson. It's top tier acting. The way he throws himself into the role despite it being a ridiculous premise. And the way he commits to the role, it just shows what a grade A freaking actor Samuel L. Jackson is and how just amazing and lucky it is that we have him as Nick Fury in the MCU. They did go on from that moment into the Marvels without almost never acknowledging some of the events in the show, which I didn't mention in the Marvels. And that just goes to show the Marvels did a fine job without having to intertwine with that show. I think if it was intertwined, that's maybe what the reshoots were. The problem I have is they put content out that they don't think is good just because they filmed it already. So Ironheart next week. We're going to be covering all 3 episodes 3 days in a row. I'm not going to give you the big chunk. I'm going to go one at a time and talk about them with you. So we'll have 4 full Ironhearts coming up. All next week, we're going to do an extra episode. So we're going to do 3 next week. Then the following week, we'll have that first one. So we'll have most of the show finished by the time we finish the 4th episode a week from Tuesday. I'm excited for Ironheart, and the latest trailer made me a little excited. This is, I guess, my promotion aspect of going back and listening to episodes and getting ready for future episodes. However, Deadpool's journey has nothing to do with any of this. I think it's just the fact that he's in the MCU now. Now he has to hear me rant about things. There was like a training montage and transformation montage, and he had this thing with T.J. Miller, who I guess he had a falling out with. I don't want to get too into it, but T.J. Miller's also had some controversy going around it. But I think he's really funny in this movie. I thought the training montage was great, and it was fun to watch. I mean, like, I love this movie, how they made him Deadpool, and like I said, in the order of how they did it. The final battle is Deadpool-style action, and in my opinion, that Deadpool style action is definitive enough to be in the MCU. I know a lot of work goes into these superhero battles and fights and whatnot, and I thought that they did a good finale for this movie. They could have gone more over the top, but they didn't, which tells me that was a SHIELD helicarrier, and we can retcon that, like Tom Holland being the kid that Iron Man saves in Iron Man 2 with that little Iron Man helmet. That we can make our head canon, and that makes the world breathe, and that's fantastic. We know he's going to be in the MCU now, so rewatches from this point on, it's all kind of like leading up to that. And Hugh Jackman and Deadpool, Deadpool and Wolverine, that was the perfect cap on these movies. And if he wants to make more Deadpool movies, I think he can make another trilogy if he wanted. I think he could just be the new Stan Lee, popping up in movies, breaking the fourth wall, making little jokes and whatnot. Make a tradition of it. Make him a tradition. Make him a staple, because he's so different and out there. We're so lucky to have him as a character. The movie has humor, heart, and balance. And the first thing I think of when I think of balance is not just Thanos. We got Colossus in this movie, and we got Negasonic Teenage Warhead, and those are the X-Men that they could swing for Deadpool in this movie, because they did not know it was going to be such a wild success. So he had a little bit more options with the second one. But I think he knew, and if they were following this movie being made, I think it would have been known, and surprised if it flopped. It was known to be a hit. It was known how much the audience wanted it, and they promoted it like an MCU movie, in my opinion, and I wanted to see it just as bad as one. So I love it. I love the commitment. I love the put your foot in the door instead of leaving it in there to go left or right. You push into it. So that's what makes these original Deadpool movies a lot of fun. There's a lot of ambition. There's great dialogue. I'm breaking it down from a perspective of memory, and the movie stuck with me this much that I could kind of watch it in my brain. I didn't see Deadpool 2 as many times, but I seen it 3 times, and I think that one goes another level. It'll be fun to talk about that. I just like the underdog effect of this movie, where there's so much love and passion put into this movie. I'm literally looking at the poster for it right now. He has the heart in his hands. It's an actual Deadpool poster. Feel the love for Valentine's Day. So it's they did some serious Deadpool posters for Valentine's Day. I don't know why they decided to release it that day, but I think they maybe saw this is the age of guys and their girlfriends watching superhero movies together. So let's just put it out on Valentine's Day. No other big movies are coming out that weekend that we know of, right? So good idea, great for marketing. It may have just brought that extra amount of people in to make it really noticed by Marvel. And I think by Deadpool 2, he knew what he had in his hands. He had to still prove that he still got it. It's not a one-trick wonder, one-trick pony. It is a solid franchise, and he did that with Deadpool 2 as well. And we're going to talk a lot more about that coming up on our Deadpool 2 after show. I'd say that Francis is a good villain, and I like the banter between Wade and him. And I think the fight at the end with Colossus and Negasonic Teenage Warhead, I thought that was all fun. I think the funniest moment, maybe if not, probably the funniest moment is when Colossus is trying to, convince Deadpool just to join the X-Men, and you don't have to kill everybody. And boom, he shoots his enemy in the head. It's so dark, and it even makes Colossus puke. It's so funny. Those moments like that, the humor / balance of the heartfelt story. How the hell did they get away with this? I have covered Deadpool and Wolverine twice on this channel, once when it came out, once when it came to Disney+. If you would like me to make a trilogy, this will be the 3rd time covering it. I haven't done that for any movie on the show yet. Let me know, MarvelManiacPod@gmail.com. Also, Patreon.com/MarvelManiac. Every Saturday at 10 a.m. we drop a new mini-sode, and they're a little bit of a different style than the episode, but it's still fun listens and good times. We are Patreon.com/MarvelManiac. Join us even as just a non-paying member. You can listen to the first 2 minisodes, kind of get a feel for what they're like, but I will guarantee you that they get better as they go, and I have a lot of fun making them, so I think you'll enjoy them. Patreon.com/MarvelManiac. There's also a tip jar in our About section. The link to our Patreon is in the About section, and yeah, never expected, but definitely appreciated. We want to build this community, and this is my passion. I'm not going anywhere. And again, I have a podcast announcement, and it has nothing to do with the leaving or staying of this show. Don't worry, but there is an announcement, a big announcement I have in the next few weeks. Stay tuned for that. It's very exciting. I'm very excited about it, and you might just be too. So give me your input before Deadpool 2 at MarvelManiacPod@gmail.com. Let me know what you thought about this episode, and if there's certain topics you want me to graze in the next one, I think I can do that for you. And tell me what you love about Deadpool, and I'll shout out your takes. I'll give you a little shout out on the show, low key, for sticking with me this long. I know it's been almost 20 minutes, and the new show, if you go back to our early catalog, long episodes. This show now, Marvel Maniac, we're 20 to 30, and then if it's like a movie or, we can go up to 40 or 50. I don't want to keep the shows that long. And I only tell you guys this because you're a part of my process, and I like being honest. So honestly, I think I've said my thoughts on this movie. The fact that it's really just an origin story told in a very unique way stands for the unique hero himself in Deadpool. And next up, we're going to follow directly into Deadpool 2. Again, it's going to be a little bit different of a review because it's a way different movie. Same as Deadpool and Wolverine. All three very different, uniquely toned, unique movies. And I'm excited to maybe, not even ask you guys to just do another Deadpool and Wolverine, even if it's 10 minutes, because I haven't thought of or watched the trilogy really. I mean, of course I thought of the trilogy before, when going to the movie. You think of the other movies when going in to see, are they going to pick things up? Are they going to leave things behind? They did a good job. We'll talk more about it when we get there. Your input, MarvelManiacPod at gmail.com. Sorry for being a bit of a broken record right now. I'm just excited to have been able to talk to you about one of my favorite heroes. I think he's got a lot of future endeavors in the MCU. They can keep him until he's 92. They can, as long as he doesn't have any more controversies. I'm not going to talk about that. This is not the space yet. I did bring it up. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Like I said, patreon.com/MarvelManiac. We are community growing, and you'll get on our wall of heroes if you do a paid subscription, and it gives you access to all the minisodes. Love wins, sarcasm kills, and chimichangas are still underrated. Until next time, Avengers, disassemble.